Hey guys, it is Saturday the 25th of July, and just wanted to let you know that the World Health Organization has now done an update on their dementia prevention guidelines. This was published in the hearing review on July 21st, which would have been Tuesday. The World Health Organization has updated its the dementia prevention guidelines, elevating the hearing loss and treating hearing loss up to core public health priorities, it says. But it addresses untreated loss, and, treating it could possibly prevent up to 7% of the dementia cases globally, it says. So, when we talk about hearing loss being something that is detrimental, not just to the people around you who have to repeat themselves, but to you in your brain, we mean it. Johns Hopkins has done studies on this for years, and we tell people this, and they all just kind of, oh, I think I already have it. What the hell's so funny about dementia? You don't joke about it. You don't want it. Trust me. So, when this came out, our manager sent this out to us, and it was like, oh my gosh, they talk about, like I said, addressing untreated hearing loss could prevent approximately 7% of the dementia cases globally. It explicitly recommends hearing aid use for those with documented hearing loss. Notice it said hearing aid use, not amplifier use, not over-the-counter cheap crap. No. Real hearing aids, something that's going to actually help prevent dementia. Okay. Some of the other stuff, it was just, it used to be that it was just identify the loss and maybe do something about it. Well, now it's, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. If you have hearing loss, fix it. There's no shame in wearing hearing aids. There are people out there that are, there are kids out there wearing hearing aids. There are people of all ages wearing hearing aids. It's not a big deal. It's just like wearing your damn glasses, okay? It's no big deal. Okay? So if you need them, do it. It's not going to hurt anything. All right? So, it says here, research has linked hearing device use to 23% lower dementia risk. 23%. And, and it talks about the brain when you hear things, when you're in a conversation and you're talking to somebody, okay, so like you're listening to me, hopefully, what you're doing, you're not hearing me through your ears. The ears are the pathway. You're actually hearing in your brain. Okay, so the sound comes into the ear, hits the eardrum wobbles, and it takes those little three bones in the chain, and they move around and they fluid, they get that fluid moving, and that goes into the cochlea, and it just goes around that little spinny thing, and it hits all of those little hairs in there, and those little hairs change that sound from analog into an electrical signal. Okay, and it goes electrical signal up the auditory nerve to the brain. The brain then processes those electrical signals into what we understand as words and sounds. Okay? It is absolutely fascinating. It really is. It really is truly fascinating. And, the brain is phenomenal. It's for lack of a better word, it's fascinating. Okay? But when it doesn't get the proper signals, it doesn't know what to do with it. And then the brain has to allocate all these different things, extra energy and all these extra little functions trying to figure out, what? What did you say? So when it's got all of this extra stuff going on and it's trying to figure stuff out, it's taking from other parts of your brain to figure out what's going on. When it takes from other parts of your brain, it's taking things that are supposed to be going towards memory. towards attention. They talk about executive function. Those of us with ADHD, we know all about executive function and how we don't have it. But I mean, it goes towards that stuff. And if we have to take it away from that stuff so we can understand what people are saying, we're taking away from the stuff that's going to keep our brains working and stave off dementia. And and other things too, but even social withdrawal, so if you are not, you can't hear, you're asking everybody, what, they don't want to hang out with you. You're a problem, okay? They don't, they may not, when they say, oh God, we got to go to Grandma Mildred's again. Oh, you can't have a conversation with that woman. Or, go to Grandpa Earl's again. You can't understand him. You can't hear him. He can't hear you. You can't have a conversation with him. And all you have to do is repeat over and over and over, or you get embarrassed because you keep thinking they're saying something wrong, and then they start laughing at you because you're not getting it right. You get embarrassed and you say, I'm not going. I don't need to go. No, I don't want to deal with that. So pretty soon, you're alone. You have no visitors. You have nobody that you're going out with. You're by yourself. You start to get depressed. And all of that brings you down, brings your brain function down, and that leads to dementia. There's all kinds of things that can lead to dementia. Hearing loss has now been elevated to one of the bigger things that can cause dementia, or at least accelerate it. If genetics obviously is huge. If you've got a family member, or several that have dementia, chances are you're going to be heading that way. Why would you want to accelerate it? If you have hearing loss, frickin' treat it, okay? I don't care who you go to. I don't care if it's me, my dad, the schmo down the road. I don't know. I don't care. Treat it. Because if you don't, you're going to end up being more of a burden to your family than you are now. Okay? And I'm telling you, people say, oh, hearing aids are so expensive. They are. But if you think about what they do, it's a miniature, as Dad always says, it's a miniaturized computer. It's a miniature computerized device working in 100 degrees, 100% humidity, 365 days a year, and it's got to work. And not only does it have to work, but it has to process all that sound. It has to process it into all these little different pieces and send it correctly into the ear to accommodate for the stuff that you're missing. And it's got to do all of that in real time. Think about that. Think about how little a hearing aid is and all of the different parts. There's thousands upon thousands of transistors in these things. These little things, that's a lot. And then you look at the extra stuff that they do. Some of them have sensors in them that will help sense what kind of a listening environment you're in. Some of them will sense if you've fallen and will contact somebody. Some of them will have treatment in it for tinnitus, for ringing. Some of it will have, they have all these different features, sudden sound stabilizers, wind noise managers, feedback cancelers. They have all these different things that are put into these hearing aids that somebody had to come up with, figure out how to design it, figure out how to make it happen, and figure out how to do it in this little tiny space, So there's a lot to it. There's also paying for, paying for the people that work for you. You have to pay their license, and they're not their license. Well, maybe their license, but you have to pay for their, you have to pay them. Darn it. So, there are reasons why hearing aids are expensive. Are they a little overpriced? I don't know, maybe. But is it worth it? Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. You can, I mean, most places have financing. You can finance them for, you know, anywhere from probably 80 to $250 a month for a few months, a few years. Most hearing aids are going to last you 3 to 5 years, thereabouts. And again, they don't last all that long because, just like what I said before, I mean, 100 degrees, 100% humidity, look at the abuse that they take. I mean, you're cramming them in your ear, and then you're pulling them out, and then you're, messing with them. If you have battery option, which right now our rechargeables are so amazing that why would you even want to do the batteries? They're a pain in the butt. But if you do have batteries and you have a battery door that's moving and can pop off, you have batteries that can get stuck in them if you don't do it right. There's all kinds of things. So there are a lot of things with hearing aids that are they're amazing, and they cost in order to create them and to produce them and everything. And you look at it, like on average, I would say on average, you're going to spend anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 for a pair of really good hearing aids. Some are a little bit more, some are less, but on average, I would say 4 to 6, somewhere in there. And you're going to do that probably every 3 to 5 years. So, sometimes insurance will pay for it, sometimes they won't. Sometimes you'll get deals because of your insurance, sometimes you won't. But you think about that. So say you turn 70 and you need hearing aids. Okay, so you buy a pair of hearing aids. Say you get them to last 5 years. Okay, so say you paid $6,000 for a pair of hearing aids, and then in 5 years, you do it again. And in 5 years, you do it again. So 20 years. So from 70 to 90, you will have paid, what would that be? 6, 12, 18, 24, $32,000 on hearing aids. How much do you think it would cost to put you into memory care? I know places that are memory care that are $8,000 to $10,000 a month. A month. Is that excessive? Hell yeah, it is. But is that reality? Yeah, it is. If you think about it, not only is it the cost of memory care, it's the cost of any medical extra that you need. It's the cost that your family goes through. It is unbelievable, the difference. Hold on a second here. Wicket, I'm talking. Wicket, I'm talking. Anyway, I would strongly suggest that you start looking at hearing aids. And if you're not ready yet to wear them, if you don't have hearing loss, good. Set some money aside for when you do. Whether it's an HSA account or, whatever it is, just Wicket, cut it out. But anyway, do something. Plan. Help your family. If your mom or dad or your brother, sister, cousin, grandma, whatever, if they need hearing aids and they can't afford it, help them. See if you can. If you can at least, figure out how to, get a little extra money for them, so that they can afford it. Do we as hearing providers enjoy selling expensive hearing aids? No, we don't. Because I don't like to see people, struggling to pay for stuff and then tell them, oh, you also need this $5,000 pair of hearing aids. I don't like to do that. Wicket, please. I don't like to do that. But I don't really have a whole, I don't have an option of, so, you know, I don't have the ability to just pick and choose how much hearing aids are. You know, a lot of us don't. As much as we would love to, we don't. So, you know, heckling and not heckling, haggling, haggling with us isn't going to help, unfortunately. You know, I wish that there was a way we could do it, but there just isn't. So, you know, you're just going to have to plan on it, but do it because it is so important, isn't it, Wicket? Say, it's important, guys. Wicket. Say, it's important. It's important, guys. Yes. So, please, if you haven't gotten your hearing tested, do it. It's free. I mean, most places it's free. It's free everywhere I've worked, it's free. It's a state-regulated test. So, I mean, you know, you're going to get, you should get the same results everywhere you go. So, I mean, get your hearing tested, get it checked. If there's something not right, if you're struggling with anything, even if it's a mild loss and you're struggling, then it's time to do something about it. Okay? They got in the ear, they got behind the ear, they got the little tiny little ones that you can't see. They've got, you know, of course it depends on your loss, but you got to do something. Please. Okay? So, anyway, I'm going to put a link to that video. I'm going to put a link to the article in the hearing review that, you know, that will give some information on this whole thing. So, anyway, love you guys. Sorry about the rant. All right. Love you. Have a great day. Bye.